Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People, because I enjoy working for fans of the Carolina Panthers and especially trying to help you guys get through this. I don't know what kind of adjective I want to use on this season. It's up and down, up and down. But we are here to talk to you about it. Let me ask you to do me a favor before we get into this video too much further. Hit the like button. It helps other Carolina Panther fans find out about what we do here. Really appreciate it. And if you're new and you enjoy what you see, hit the subscribe button. I'm not going to bother you about that all throughout the video, but trust me, we all YouTubers ask because we need it to grow and to continue to do fun stuff for this Carolina Panthers team. And we always go live for a reason, is to interact with you. This show here on Mondays, 100% dedicated towards taking your questions from you, right? So we don't have any script. We'll talk about stuff if you guys don't give us any questions, but there's also a link in the description, and that link in the description is solely for the purpose of you joining us on this broadcast, all right? So do that. And you know what? One other thing. We're an independent media. You get to see us do a lot of cool stuff that you all want us to do. We're able to do that because we are independent, but we need your support. We really do. So anytime you can super chat, cash out, whatever you can do, please do. We greatly appreciate it. And let me try to bring on my co-host. Sometimes I don't do it right. Hopefully today I'm going to do it correctly. And let's see if I did it correctly here. That's just me.
Am I on?
You're on, but hold on. I'm not on, so I got to get me on and you on. And then you're in front. I don't want you to be in front. I want to be in front. So let me take you away, and then let me add you. Oh, this is doing what I wanted to do. I don't care. You're there. What's up?
Well, what's up, man? We're here, and we're ready to go here on a Monday. I mean, there's plenty to talk about here today. Even though that Carolina lost yesterday, they still control their own destiny. That is a message for today. There is still hope and optimism. And like I said, Chris, yesterday I felt restless, but today I feel a little more at ease.
You were feeling restless yesterday, and even after the game, you were not exactly comfortable with everything. But you've had a chance to settle in.
I had a good night's sleep and a day to digest all the information and all the stuff that took place yesterday. And plus, it did help that Tampa Bay did lose. So that's really the key indicator of it all. So I'm a little bit calmer today in terms of the outlook for Carolina.
Now, let's talk about good night's sleep because, I'm always personable in my coverage. I like to connect with everybody out there because, I like to say we're just privileged to have media credentials. And I think that's something unique to our media outlet to really connect with our supporters. So I get home yesterday. I didn't feel particularly tired, but, got the kids down in bed. Me and the wife laid down in bed. It was like around 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I didn't wake up until the baby started screaming like around midnight. And I felt like I weighed 400 pounds trying to get up and get out of that
Oh,
bed.
man.
So I'm a little jealous of you. I got a feeling your good night's sleep actually took you completely through the night.
Yeah, from like 11 to 6:45. So for you, for your standard, that's like heaven right there for you.
That's
But
that is
that's a
definitely
typical Andre Cassidy sleep cycle, if you will, right there. Right at bright and early at 6:45 in the morning every day.
not bad, not
Except on the
bad.
weekends when I can sleep in. But
Oh,
during the week, during the work week, that is typically the start of the day for me right there, 6:45 in the morning.
okay. Hey, everybody, continue to load us up with your comments, your questions. And again, there's a link in the description. Please click on it. Don't be afraid to show your face. That link allows you to come on the show in video, talk to Andre and I, ask us your questions, vent, tell us what you're thinking about. We love to do the show to get the pulse of, what the fans are thinking about today. I got a few things that I'm just going to talk about, and then we're going to continue to get into these comments. I see a few of them coming in, which we appreciate. And people are getting used to you being on here. So they're saying Chris and Andre now. So
Oh,
that's
yes.
good
You
to
love to
see.
see it.
So just a few things that I have come across today that I want to share with you guys. Nothing's going to be like new and great. It's just going to be more of a reflection of how bad yesterday was. The Panthers were held to 21 yards rushing yesterday. I think only Chuba had over 10 yards. Let me see if I have the stat up here from yesterday still.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
our leading
Chuba had
rusher
10,
yesterday.
and Deontay had 9. So barely scooted in there on double digits with one of our guys. The 21 yards rushing was the fewest since week 1 of 2012 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're good at math. Andre, how long ago was that?
Oh, wow. That's 10 years ago, right? I believe that is 10 years ago to the day.
10
The,
years ago was the last
wow.
time the Carolina Panthers had that few of yards rushing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was 12 years old when that happened.
You
So
got
just
to
to
stop
put
giving out
things
your age. They're going to be all over you, man. He's a
just to
younger
put it into
guy.
perspective. Well, here's the thing, though. I'm the same age as a year. So, it's kind of hard to forget that. So, as a 2000s baby, once the year turns, hey, that's how old I am. So it's kind of hard to forget.
Okay, okay. Here's another one for you. Pittsburgh Steelers converted 12 of 16 on third down conversions. A pretty high amount, the highest, tied for the most third down conversions allowed by the Carolina Panthers in a game. It's a tie for the worst ever third down conversions that we gave up to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they didn't again get the huge time of possession that we got against Seattle, but they got a pretty significant one, and they were able to continue to convert on those third downs. We had a cornerback, I'll let him remain nameless, that he had absolutely probably a very, very bad day at the office.
Well, and
While
he even said it. He even said it himself too. There was a presser that he had with the Carolina Blitz. I don't know if you saw that video that they had out there on Instagram, where he literally just said straight up, that was the worst game of his professional career right there. And he was honest. He was blunt about it. And, I liked his message in terms of trying to put it behind him and his directness in terms of his performance. And, for a younger guy, this is his second year, I believe, in the NFL. You're going to have moments like that where you're just not going to have, the best of days. It really comes down to how do you respond and how do you come back after a performance like he did have yesterday.
Yeah, and speaking of putting it behind us, there's a few things I want to touch on regarding that. So Coach Wilkes opened up his press conference today saying, this game is behind us. I'm done
Yep.
with it. And I got a lot of comments and thoughts on Coach Wilkes that I'll wait for you all to ask questions about before I just make it about me talking, because that's not what this show is about. But he's wanting to put it behind him. And there's a short week. I don't really like saying a short week. I think I said that to you off camera yesterday. It's
Yeah.
a shorter week, but it's not a short Thursday night game kind of week. It's just a game on a Saturday, but it is technically a shorter week. And flushing that out quickly is something that's going to help these guys get ready to game plan for Detroit, and something that he's already started doing. But I also feel like a lot of it was him just saying, man, that was terrible. I think in basketball, that's a sport where sometimes they'll have such a bad game and they have so many turnarounds that sometimes they just won't even watch the game. I don't think they can afford to do that in football because it's still 6 days in between, and you have to look at it and give guys grades and then go to the next game. But I got the feeling that he wished, even more so than the Cincinnati game. I feel like this one burned him more than the Cincinnati game, that he was just so frustrated. And I think that could be, this is just me, no sources. Hadn't had a chance to talk with Wilkes much one-on-one outside of that. I guess at this point, lucky preseason moment that I had to talk with him one-on-one in Spartanburg when he was just the defensive backs coach. But I got the feeling that he was really pissed off about it because he knows that he's getting the things turned around. He knows that he's getting guys to buy into it. And he's just like, that dad is just like, I want to get you guys. That's not how I coach. That's not what I expect of you guys. But nevertheless, I'll keep it moving. Won't stay too long on that. And I think I have one other stat for you today. Maybe I don't right offhand. Yeah, that's all the quick one-offs that I had. We can go ahead and get into these comments that are coming down, which I appreciate. Andre appreciates as well. Lux Main has joined us. He's been Lux Main.
Oh
Where have you
man,
been? I'm going to go in
finally
order of the
making an
comments.
appearance.
He's been. Is he a bandwagon fan?
I don't know, but it's been a minute since he's last popped in here. Again, the toupee has.
Hey, you can't jump ahead of the comments, Andre.
Oh man, I had to point that out because that's been our banter that we've been having between him and I. But again, you can't be saying all these things and then hide behind the computer screen if you're not going to show your face. So again, this is my call to action to you, Locksmane. You know where that link is. Do not hesitate to use it because we want to hear from you, man. And we haven't heard from you in a while. So it's good to see you back here. Thanks again for stopping on by and spending some time with us here tonight.
All right. Again, a quick reminder: super chats are always welcome to help support Andre and I do what we do. There's another member of our team that you don't ever see, but you always see his work. That is Julio. He's on the field every single home game, taking tons and tons of pictures. If you see those pictures on Twitter, or if you see those pictures on Instagram, that's the work of our photographer, Julio, which I think, Andre, you got the chance to see him one time or so, right?
Yeah, I think we crossed paths with him in the press box a couple weeks back. Good
Yeah.
dude, really talented dude, but just a solid dude nonetheless.
Hey, I gotta love the guy that always, you're. It's like we're up there in the press box looking down, not looking down, but I guess technically you're looking down in your nice air
Yeah.
conditioner. You got food, and he's down there with the vest, hat, and just weathering the elements of whatever they be. It's been hot when football season first starts.
Oh yeah.
Then it gets cold. Then it's been rainy. Hopefully there will not be any snow, but he always does his thing to get us those photographs. So the whole team, I bring it up to the whole team, appreciates any support that you guys are able to. All right, let's go ahead and start to talk about some of these comments. Put PJ in.
Oh. Really? At this point in the year? Ah, that's a tough one, man. I mean, and it just goes to show how bipolar this fan base is when it comes to the quarterback position. It does not make any sense at this point in time to put in PJ. He's a backup quarterback. That is his role now. He had his moments earlier in the year, but we can't continue to play musical chairs at that position. Currently, Sam Darnold gives us the best chance to win football games. Um, the best quarterback on our roster. That could be a debate for some people. But ultimately speaking, it just, for me, the timing of that would just be idiotic. I hate to say it, but it would not make any sense whatsoever. And Coach Wilkes did say that Darnold will start against the Lions. And honestly, for the rest of the season, I don't see why he would go back on that.
Yeah, I won't get into the debate because I think you left the door open for me, Andre, saying debatable about him being the best quarterback on this team. But I'll just compliment this stat right here. Sam Darnold, 14-23, 225 yards. But here's a big stat again: 1 TD, no interceptions. I think 3 games now, no interceptions. PJ, I definitely rooted for him. I definitely like him, but he certainly did not go through 3 games without an interception, which that's all my man Coach Wilkes wants right now. Is he just wants mistake-free. He wants his front line to play well, control the line of scrimmage so he can do whatever he wants to do and call the game. And Sam is definitely doing it for him in a very good way right now. So I think we're not going to see PJ for a while. What's up, AJ Lindsay? Appreciate you tuning in and saying hello. And this was just, I guess, I don't know how to say this name, but wanting PJ in there. He says, what's up? Let's see. Oh, he says, Sam can escape the. I think he meant to say Sam can't escape.
Can't?
Was that his
Yeah.
follow-up comment? Says Sam can't escape the pocket fast enough.
Debatable.
Yeah, that's debatable. I know we have Rashad on for Panther Nation podcast, but I think you agreed as well that Sam has some decent wheels. Is that
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, compared to Baker Mayfield, I mean, that's like a light and day difference. And that was like one of the things that they were talking about, even in the Seattle game too. They wanted Sam to use his legs as often as possible because it opens up a lot of things for the offense. And when there are yardage to be, when there's yardage to be taken there, I mean, obviously you want to use your legs because it gives you easy yards in situations where hey, maybe that pass option isn't there, the first pass option. Just run it with your legs and get some of those easy yards.
He's no Josh Allen.
Nobody's comparing him to Josh
Hey,
Allen. I
I
don't
know
think,
it's random. Let
you
me tell you
know.
while I'm random, okay?
I mean, he's up here. Darnold's kind of like, in the foreground. Okay, so Josh Allen, if you're listening right now, we are not trying to insult you, man. You are doing a heck of a job up there in Buffalo. You keep at it, bro, because they're going crazy up there right now in upstate New York.
Okay, the reason that was very random that I bring up Josh Allen is because I'm Googling my man Sam Darnold's 40-yard time. It's 4.85. All right, that's what it measures.
Okay,
But I think it's pretty,
that's
it's
respectable.
fair. It's pretty
Yeah.
fair. And then within the Google search, it says, like, how fast is Josh Allen? And he's in there at 4.76. And it coincidentally says how fast, what is Baker Mayfield? And
Probably like 4.8.
4.8.
That's my guess.
So him and Baker are about the same speed, really.
Wow.
Anyway, not to deviate too
And
much.
they're all in the same draft class too. That's the other key linkage of the three right there.
I'm okay with Sam continuing to stay out there, especially given how bad things went yesterday for the offense, considering how he was under pressure. And, at one point it seemed like the sacks were starting to come, the pressure was starting to come. And, of course, they're trying to win. Of course, they need to get the ball down the field, which is a time that a careless act could take place by the quarterback trying to be desperate, trying to be Superman. And he didn't do that. I hated to see him how he wrapped it up, but he did the right thing and just wrapping that ball up, falling to the ground, not just trying to heave a ball. We saw some team that we played against do that here at Bank of America, wasn't it? I forget what guy it was. Remember this game? The quarterback on the opposing team was like on his back, flipped over, kind of did that. He's almost like laying straight out. You don't remember, but
I don't, man. I'm
it
sorry.
I think they ruled him down anyway, but the way he tried to throw it, he was literally like throwing blindly into the defense.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh man.
But let's do this right here. We got to say what's up to Shaquid or Shaq. I feel like I say his name wrong. I probably say his last name better. Bartol. What's up, Andre, aka AC on Twitter? Because he tweets. He signs his tweets so you know who it is, so you guys don't get confused.
That's a loyal follower and listener right there. Shaquid, again, thank you for your continued support, man. We love you, man.
Oh, let me get this to him before we go into some more conversation. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. And he said,
Oh, yes.
We will get a Panthers Hanukkah
Day
miracle
2,
on
right?
Saturday, combined with the Tampa loss. Is it day 3? Saturday was day 1, right?
Day 2, day 3, whatever it is. Happy Hanukkah. I'm already losing track. We're already in, day 2 or 3 of it. But nevertheless, to all of those who celebrate, happy Hanukkah to all of you out there.
Yeah, so Steve Wilkes had some comments today about Sam, again, as Andre alluded to. He's going to be starting this Sunday. Andre feels like he's going to start the rest of the season. I'm for it because of this. If he doesn't start the rest of the season, that means the team goes in turmoil. Something's happening where he has this awful night, which means Coach Wilkes is not going to have a good showing, which means we're not going to continue to have a push for the playoffs. So I'm officially pronouncing to the world of those who are watching that I'm on the Sam Darnold beard bandwagon. Okay.
Yeah.
We
have finally converted him, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
I'll even give you some rinky-dinky sound effects there. But he says that he does want Sam to get the ball out a little quicker. Coach Wilkes does. And I hadn't gone back and watched the tape yet, but there's one play in which, Andre, you and I were talking. I said, man, he's not terrible with his timing. But I feel like, man, he could hit these guys a little quicker and get them in stride, give them an opportunity to continue to get some yards after the catch. And Wilkes mentioned it was two times. Both of those were intended to Terrace Marshall, streaking down the sidelines, in which on one play they got the pass interference, so they were able to get the ball down the field anyway. That was going right to left. And then another time they're going left to right, and he threw one. I'm not sure what happened on that play, but I guess he still didn't hit him.
I think he underthrew him.
He underthrew him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he says he does want him to get the ball out a little quicker, but other than that, he feels like Sam is doing a pretty good job, and I feel the same way. Also, in talking about Keith Taylor, you guys hadn't started. Well, no, I'm not going to jump ahead because we got a good amount of comments here. We want to. I got to make up for yesterday. It was so cold, and we barely got a chance to acknowledge all the comments. And I say today's show is all about what?
It's for all of you out there,
All
for all
right.
the fans tuning in, the Charlotte Vibe fam.
Yeah.
It's all about you guys today. So keep on leaving those comments. Y'all been doing pretty good so far up to this point with that.
And Andre, you're a little delayed in seeing the comments on the screen, right?
Like a 2 or 3 second delay.
All right, so I'm going to let you play host to these comments here for a second.
Yes, so let's see what we got. 4 more, 12.
Nope, you're not looking at. You can't see the ones that just put on the screen.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Sam's been playing good, though, says Nicholas Graham. Yeah, he has. He definitely has. He's been solid. I would say that would be more of an accurate representation of how he's played. But he's done the job, and, we need him to continue to do that. The fact that he hasn't been turning the ball over, too, has been honestly quite the surprise through 3 games. But he's been adequate so far, and I think adequate is what we need, especially with the way that we play and the style of which we play. He just needs to be a guy who spreads the ball around and kind of just drives the bus, if you will. Did AJ Lindsay's comment pop up there? Yeah. What's up, Andre? Yeah, I forgot to acknowledge you there. I was in the middle of my little soliloquy there. But yeah, what's up, AJ? Good to see you again. Another one of our loyal viewers here every Monday. Another common name that we see. We appreciate your support, AJ. Thanks for tuning in here tonight.
All right. We got someone that said the link is not in the comments. It's not in the comments. It's in the description.
What?
The link is in the description. Yeah. But I'll go ahead and put it in the comments really quickly. I don't know if I can put it in all the platforms that we're posting on right now. But I will put it in the comments for I just hit a bunch of buttons that made a big noise in my
everybody, utilize that link. We have not heard from anybody these past couple of weeks, even though the link is out there. So again, as Chris said, utilize the link, put your name and your face to your name. We want to hear your opinions, fellas, because we love hearing from you guys. So definitely take advantage of that opportunity, because I don't believe there's any other media site out there that gives you the opportunity to interact with the actual hosts, which is us. So definitely take advantage of that, because again, we do this for all of you out there.
All right, so I just put it out there. So thank you for filling in for me, Andre, while I was doing that. Let's go through some more. I'll take the next few comments for you.
Okay.
You have 225 yards passing, 1 TD. Happened to the other TDs. I'm not sure what Casey's saying there, but he's not liking Sam Darnold. Is what I'm getting at.
That's the vibe that I'm getting.
That's the vibe you're getting, right? James Hines says, watch the quick hits. We just got bullied all over the field. Out. So I felt that getting bullied over the field, really, that first possession, man. And for me, what made it noticeable was not so much the initial hit or on the defensive side or the initial hit on the offensive side. They kept chucking through. We got somebody that's joined us here. Let me see. All right, I'll bring you on in a second. But what stood out to me was just the animation the players showed after each play, the Steelers players. And that kind of just stood out a little bit more than I've seen players do. Not that they shouldn't be celebrating, because, I mean, they were doing good. But it just felt like they were just like, they had the smell good sauce. Or they just, to me, had that extra, like, feel our pain as we're going to run through you and run past you throughout the whole game.
Yeah, and even in Steve Wilkes' press conference yesterday, somebody asked about that, and he basically said, we have to get back to the fundamentals. We have to execute. We have to be cleaner. And there was like a 2 or 3 second pause in between what he said and then after he said this statement, we have to tackle. And there was just like that silent pause. And when he said those words, you just felt the anger and the frustration and the tone of which he said that. Because he didn't say that immediately after what he said prior to what he said to that. There was a pause, and then it kind of just slipped out. So the way that he worded it pretty bluntly and how he expressed that level of frustration, I mean, it was pretty evident that he was not too happy with how sloppy they were, especially on the defensive end of the ball.
Yeah, Jacob, we're going to bring you on in just 2 seconds here. But furthermore, along that line, the collective bargaining agreement limits a lot of things these days that wasn't in the old days, such as the two-a-days, how long practice can be, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't realize this, but one of the things that it also limits is the amount of times that they could practice in pads. I think my son, who will be in pads soon, is trying to break into the room. But they limit the amount of times that the Panthers can go in pads. I mean, I say Panthers, but all NFL teams. The Carolina Panthers have only one more time this season that they can be in pads. Only one more time. And, just because they were getting down to a few times that they can do that, they didn't go in pads last week. And Wilkes said, I don't know if that's the reason. I certainly can, think about that. But I'm going to use my last one this week to get these guys back in pads, remind them about the physicality. And I guess after this week, he's just going to have to hope that they get the message and, they can rock from there. But let's go ahead. Jacoby waited nicely. I'm going to bring him in here in just a second and add him to our show. Let's see if I can do this properly.
That is a pretty interesting tidbit, though. I did not know that.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
What up, man?
Much. It's my first time being on a show like this of this magnitude. People actually being at the the game and stuff like that. As far as I'm concerned, I've been on a bunch of podcasts and stuff like that. I've seen yours for a minute, been doing my research, here and there for different people and stuff. So
doing his homework.
Yeah, basically just listening to what everybody's opinions are and just kind of concocting my own, and seeing what everybody else doesn't. But the reason why I'm so high on PJ, and a lot of people will give me hell for this, it's I'm high on him because I know what he can do. Everybody can see what he can do. The team plays different. It plays different every time whenever he's out there. And everybody likes to go back to that Bengals game and stuff like that. Yeah, but that was just one game. And then he won the game after that game. So he redeemed himself. But I know this isn't the PJ Walker show and stuff like that, so I'm not gonna get into talking about that. I'm trying to stay on topic. But as far as my opinion about how the game was run yesterday, I saw no fight. As far as the defense and stuff like that, they were fighting, but there were very few players that just kind of gave up on some plays and did not tackle. They didn't wrap up. They didn't finish through the tackle and stuff like that, because you're supposed to keep on driving your feet whenever you wrap up with somebody, or whenever you attack their their outside shoulder or something like that, or aim for their hip. You're supposed to drive into them and stuff like that. Certain players didn't do that yesterday. Jeremy Chin did it, but Najee Harris kind of spun off of him and stuff like that, and kind of forced him to the ground. Not, I hate to say it, but kind of little boyed him a little bit. He kind of little boyed him, but I won't get into that, because Jeremy Chin has seen better days and stuff like that. But as far as the team goes, we've been getting better over the course of the weeks and stuff like that. And I've seen Sam improve, because I'll get into him right now, so I'll give him his props and give him his dues. But as far as Sam goes and stuff like that, I was excited when he came back, but also I was kind of optimistic a little bit. I was I knew he was going to do good. As far as him throwing the ball, like I know he's a good quarterback in terms of throwing the ball. Like he's has no flaws whenever it comes to like, hitting somebody in stride, throwing the ball, like, being that quarterback that can throw. But if you pressure him, right? If you pressure him, throw him off his mark and stuff like that, basically make him scared, he's going to start panicking, which we kind of saw a little bit of that yesterday, which was why, like, he underthrew most players and stuff like that, and most receivers that, like, was, like, wide open some of the times, or most of the time. Like how you were saying earlier, where he threw it to TMJ and he caught it, or he was about to catch it and stuff like that, but it was a pass interference call on him and stuff.
Yep.
Like, after that, Sam had 3 attempts to try and go ahead and, like, get into the end zone. Like, we were first and goal like 3 times, and we didn't convert most of the time on those drives. Like, Eddie had to come out there and, like, do his thing. But I don't want to take that away from Sam, but it's just like in the times where it's crunch time, he can't really, like, he doesn't have that Himothy, mentality to him. He has to be that dog. Like, I've seen like a whole bunch of, like, whole bunch of other, like, players, like, come in, and like I've been watching other teams, of course, like, perform under pressure whenever, like, like the Vikings game. I don't want to go back to that game, but that was a really good game. Like, they were really down bad. Like, nobody thought that they were going to come back, and they did. And it's just like games like that come down to the wire and stuff like that. We had 2 games last year, I believe, where Sam was like playing against the Cowboys, and I think it was against the Vikings, where we took them
Yep.
into overtime, and he couldn't deliver. Like, he could not deliver. And it's not because, like, he's a bad passer or something like that, because you put pressure on him, like I said, he's going to fold under pressure. You're going to make mistakes under pressure. So that's primarily what defenses try to do, to try and throw us off of our game whenever our run game does not work, because they stuffed the run. They stuffed the run and used our own tactic against us yesterday. That was Mike Tomlin's only, like, idea, or, like, formula for actually trying to beat us, was using our own tactic against us.
All right, Jacoby, you gonna run up my memory banks to remember all the things you said to comment on them, right?
I'm sorry, man.
So
I talk a lot.
so
I talk.
I'm gonna have
But
to
that was
pause.
good, though. That was
I'm gonna
good,
have to
man.
pause you there and attempt to comment on everything that you said. Hey, you said this is your first time coming on. I really appreciate you joining the channel for the moment to come and talk to Andre and I. We hope that you come back again, and we try to just
Oh, but
be
of course,
regular
I'm
guys
everywhere.
that look at things objectively and but professionally as well, to talk with everybody. So and I like the light show that you got going on back there. I thought your signal would
Oh
go out,
no,
but
this is
you
just
actually got a light
Netflix.
show going on.
That's just Netflix. You got
Appreciate
it
you,
like
man.
on. Are you still watching? And it's just like showing, that whole thing and whatnot. I'm just in the dark by myself, just
That's
thinking about things.
that's right. We're gonna go ahead and respond to a few of those things that he said. I say a few in all fun. He said quite a bit, but I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a pretty good. He had a lot to say, though, a lot of thoughtful things that was on his mind. But he made a lot of good points too.
So I'm gonna try to go over the ones that I remember, and then Andre, anything that I didn't catch that you caught, go for it. So
Yeah,
Sam and PJ. Okay, so they definitely. I was about to make up a word, definitely. They definitely have
definitely.
two different personalities, right? And Sam's just kind of a low key, chill guy, whereas PJ Walker will give you a little bit more. I wouldn't put PJ Walker to that dog alpha male kind of thing. That's a Baker Mayfield. But all three of these quarterbacks, well, when Baker was here, had different personalities. We really didn't get a chance to see Matt Corral's personality come through because he got hurt, unfortunately, very early on. But coaches don't let that dictate whether or not they like a guy and whether or not he can play. And Wilkes talks about that. Be who you are. If Sam's quiet, then stay quiet. So I think some of that can kind of get not lost, but make you want one player over the other. And then in terms of performance this year so far, again, PJ Walker did play in some good games. He does feel more exciting just feeling and watching. But wins and performance, let's look at Sam and PJ on the year. So far, Sam has 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. PJ Walker this year, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So it ain't terrible, but it's still 1 for 1. Every touchdown is an interception. Sam, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. This coach will take this all day long because he knows that he has marginal talent on this team, and he needs that safety of no turnovers a lot more than he would need for the having somebody that's fun to watch but can mess it up as well. Andre, anything that you caught that I didn't remember right there?
I think from the overarching message that I got with him, he misses some fireworks at that position. I think
Yeah.
that's really the takeaway that I got from the whatever he said. You know, there was a lot that he said there. I'm all scrambled up myself trying to keep track of everything. But I think it goes for everybody. We all miss that flair. We all miss that alpha mentality of, you know, a guy like a Cam Newton. We were so spoiled with that for almost a decade, and we're still searching for that right now. And, you know, we're not trying to slight Sam Darnold, but, I mean, let's just be frank. He's not the most exciting guy that you could have out there. I mean, you know, PJ Walker, you would probably, in terms of the entertainment value, would be the more entertaining quarterback of the three that we had. But Sam Darnold right now gives us the best opportunity to win. And with the formula that he has of just staying even kill, low key, and just playing solid football, that's what's caused this team to still be relevant in this playoff race that we're in right now. But again, just to get back to what he was saying, you know, with the whole idea of having flair, flashiness, and just, you know, that dog mentality at that position, it's still a search. We're not there yet. We're probably not going to be there for maybe a couple more years. I mean, it's hard to find that guy like a Cam Newton that we had, you know, with this team for the better part of 10 years. Those don't just happen every year. I mean, these are once in a generation type talents that we were blessed to have for a good bit of time. But hey, you never know, man. There will be a guy that comes out of nowhere and then takes our hearts away. So we'll see. We'll see how that whole process goes as we look into the future.
Yeah, and Jacoby's trying to get back on. We didn't hang up on you. We just have time limits, and we only do one per show. So hopefully you'll be able to join us again back. Do the show every single Monday at 7 o'clock during the season. And, you know, if we go into the postseason, we'll do it after the day after on the post-game show as well. All right, we got another person that looks like they want to join us.
Oh, man,
And
it is active today. I like it. I like it.
you asked for it, Andre, so they
Yes.
answered. So you got.
Ask and you shall receive.
I like it too. I like it too. So let's go ahead and see if I can hit these buttons correctly this time around. Uh-oh. Hold on. Hit the wrong button on you. Let's see here. We'll go here, and then we'll go. Come on. There we go. What's going on, sir?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing today?
Pretty
Oh,
good.
how about you, man?
Doing good. I got one
Hold
question
on, hold
for
on.
you.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure
you've
if
been
you
on
guys
before,
talked-
right?
Huh?
You haven't been on before, have you?
Yeah, I came on one time before.
See, that don't count. You got to do more than one for me to remember. I always see you on the chat, though.
Hey, I'm always trying to get on the chat when I can. But I do have one question. I'm not sure if you guys talked about this before, but yesterday during the game when Pittsburgh got down to the 10-yard line and then they threw the unsportsmanlike conduct flag, that was a 15-yard penalty. It was already first and goal. So when they moved the ball back to the 25-yard line, they gave them first and 10 at the 25. Should have been first and goal at the 25.
I don't remember that sequence as you talked about. You're talking about when the Panthers had the ball.
No, when Pittsburgh got the ball, and I believe it was number 18 got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at the 10-yard line. Because I guess he was taunting the DB.
So we got an unsportsmanlike. Carolina got
No,
an
the Pittsburgh wide receiver got the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at the 10-yard line after he caught the ball because he was taunting the defensive back. So it should have been first and goal Pittsburgh. But when they gave him the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, it should have went from the 10-yard line to the 25-yard line and still been first and goal instead of first and 10.
Okay.
I'm going to have to phone a friend, Andre. You remember that one?
I'm blanking. I hate to say it. I'm blanking on that one too.
I believe it was
But
their second. It was their second touchdown.
in the second quarter, right?
Yeah, because they got that. Everybody, a bunch of my friends and I were talking, and it was like, okay, he's got his first and goal at the 10-yard line, but they threw the flag for unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting. That's a 15-yard penalty. You take it back to the 25, but it's still first and goal, not first and 10.
Well,
Did they
this
score on that drive?
They did. They scored a touchdown on that drive.
Okay, so
So this is what I'm gonna have to promise you, man. One thing is I promise not to ever give you fluff, pretend like I know something that I don't know, and I'm not gonna do that in this case. So I'm gonna have to give you an IOU. I'm gonna go back and watch everything so that I can see it, and then on the next video, well, let's see, the next video will be tomorrow. I can't say it'll be tomorrow, but definitely before the week is out, Mr. Lindsay, I will make sure that I watch that and I'm able to comment on that. And in lieu of me not being able to comment on it right now, did you have anything else?
Honestly, guys, I think Steve Wilkes is doing a great job, but it's maddening to me that Panther fans are always looking for the next great thing. It's like you've got a guy who's turned the team from 1-5, 1-6, whatever we were at the time he took over, and we're thinking about the first pick in the draft, and now we're in December talking about possibly playoffs and playing meaningful football since like 2017.
Yeah.
But they want to throw him out the door. It's like, oh, if he doesn't go like undefeated or if he doesn't win the next 3 games, oh, we don't want him. I'm like, give the guy a chance. What does he have to do in order to get a shot? Plenty of guys have done as Matt Rule did less and got a full-time coaching gig with $62 million in full total control of the roster. And he never proved anything in the NFL. He was an assistant offensive line coach for the New York Giants. Mm-hmm. Steve Wilkes has been in this league for years, has proved himself. He got a raw deal in Arizona, and they're ready to throw him out with the trash.
Okay.
It was almost like Denzel Washington and Remember the Titans. If you lose one game, you're fired.
You know, I should bring it up in a press conference because they talk about him and Denzel, and it's almost like he's in the Denzel Remember the Titans situation. That's pretty cool.
You lose one game, you're fired.
And here's the thing, though. He doesn't want to feed into that narrative, but there were moments like, in that Seattle game when he rolled up. I mean, the man he was dripped out with his outfit.
He's everything you want in a head coach. He is a leader of men. These guys respect him. They follow him. Yeah, they threw an egg up yesterday. It was a bad game. It happens to the best of them. Mike Tomlin will tell you, it's happened to him before. Bill Belichick, look what happened to him yesterday. You don't think he's got egg on his face after that debacle? I'd rather lose the way we lost than to lose the way New England lost yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that was a pretty ugly one. That is for sure. That's probably the worst possible way you could lose a game, right?
All right,
I don't know how much worse it could be.
We're going to go ahead. Hey, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to take you
off.
Thanks,
guys.
We're going to go ahead and answer those questions.
You.
I can't lose. Oh, man, I'm not clicking on buttons right tonight. There we go. So, AJ, appreciate you showing your face. Hey, we got about 15 more minutes, so anybody else that want to come on, we love to have you on and interact. That is 100% why we do this show. I owe my man a follow-up video to his question because he got me stomped completely on that one. And
same here.
As I said, I'm never going to pretend to know something that I do not know. So, but about the Coach Wilkes part and people wanting to, hot and cold with Coach Wilkes, I think it's just it's just a lot of desperation in Carolina. That's really what it is. Fans just want to win, and when something's not working, they just they want to tear it up. So your emotions kind of go all over the place when you're in desperation mode, saying, "Hey, can we please have a winning season?" Or man, can I please see back-to-back winning seasons before I pass away in my lifetime with this team? But we're not the only team that struggles with it. There was a memo sent by the NFL yesterday to teams about the fact that they get rid of people too much, and the season ends and it's like, oh, let's throw all this out and try something again, because it's starting to mess with their balance sheets as teams are having to pay for people that aren't there any longer, such as us with Matt Rule, such as us formerly with Teddy Bridgewater, and I forget the other quarterback. I don't know if Cam was part of that too. At one point we were like paying for 3 quarterbacks or paying for the quarterback. Anyway, it was terrible. You got situations in New York where they're paying for several head coaches that aren't even there anymore. So it's somewhat of a league thing that it happens where people just want to scrap quickly and try something new. And I think with the fan base here in Carolina, it is purely a desperation of like, can we have something that's winning? But Wilkes is doing a good job. I don't think that yesterday's performance, and please leave your comments. We like to interact here. Andre, I'm about to give you the floor here. But
Mm-hmm.
with Steve Wilkes in the game yesterday, I'm not saying that forget about it. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it was still overall a game in which we had a chance to win. We lost by 8 points, which is one score. Games that have previously been losing, that out of control, the score looks far worse than it did yesterday. I think Jacoby was on earlier, and he was talking about players getting bullied or looking like I forget the word that he used, but I was just going to say bullied, and that might have been seen on a play or two or a person, but you didn't see it just like happening throughout. You saw guys running and making an effort. They didn't do the whole thing. They didn't follow through. They didn't execute, but it didn't look like a quit. It just looked like they were just getting beat up by people that were stronger and better than them. And I think that Wilkes still he has a follow-up game. No team in this NFC South has won 3 games in a row. So if we did that yesterday, we would have been the first team in the NFC South this season, and all the other
Ooh.
coaches and all the other great people that haven't done it, right? So that's why part of the reason why I felt like running the tables is a little bit of a high bar and probably not even needed, as we saw in this division. But I feel like there's a little bit of an overreaction with Steve Wilkes losing yesterday just because it was so much of an opposite of what we saw and was quickly falling in love with against Seattle. But it was one game, and it was still, in my opinion, we just got out muscled.
Just ran into the better team yesterday, just plain and simple. And, despite the fact that we did lose yesterday, you know, he still had control of the team. It's not like there wasn't any moment in time where things just completely went haywire. It was still a relatively close game. And, I bring up the press conference after the game. He was pissed. He was PO'd. And it's good to see a coach be angry after a loss, especially the way that they lost yesterday's game. And there was a lot of accountability as well. He was the first to tell everybody that it's on me. I have to get these guys playing better. I got to be able to put them in better situations in order for them to succeed. So, the whole overreaction thing with Steve Wilkes, oh, we're going to jump the ship on him, jump off the bandwagon. It just speaks to the level of desperation, like you said, Chris, in terms of the fan base and wanting to be relevant again. And I think he can be that guy that can make us relevant again because of the track record. I mean, you look at the 3 years that we won the NFC South back to back to back. He was a part of all 3 of those teams, and he has that pedigree, and he has the attention of the locker room. And I think that's really contagious, and I think that really helps him out moving forward. But to everybody who's saying, oh, I don't know if he's really the guy, come on, folks. It was one game, and it wasn't like they were going to go out and run the table because, again, it just did not seem realistic. Heck, we could lose to the Lions. And if Tampa Bay loses to Arizona on Sunday Night Football, again, there still is a chance. It just shows you how putrid this division is. And that Tampa Bay game in the next couple of weeks on New Year's Day, that could very well be the game that decides the division. But I don't want to jump ahead too much because that's still next year, as they say. It'll be in 2023.
Hey, we're going to go ahead and go into speed mode. And since I'm going to be in speed mode, I got to be disciplined, be speedy myself.
Right.
Man, I'm forgetting my thoughts I was going to say about Steve Wilkes. There's a lot of things I like about him, but I think another thing that makes him your next coach is that he will talk about a player in terms of criticizing the player, but he'll also go to say, hey, now don't try to kick my guy, all right? down and while he's down. So we can say that was it Taylor, the cornerback?
Keith Taylor, yes.
Keith Taylor. You know, we all going to say he did bad, but there's 10 other guys that are out there on that field as well. So he mentioned Keith Taylor, but then he said, hey, all right, let's back off. There are other people out there as well. And he also will, you know, we say call people out. That's not the right word I want to use right now. But he talked about interceptions, right, getting turnovers, and that we didn't have any yesterday. And in reference to could we have or should we have, this guy wouldn't said that yes. Shaq Thompson, tough catch, tough situation, but he has to get that ball. Yep. He's setting the bar high. He could have. Shaq Thompson's a captain. Shaq Thompson's been here for a while. He could have let him off the hook and said that was pretty difficult. So I don't know. You know, the ball got tipped by Initas, but he said no. He got to catch that. He even talked about one that I didn't even see, Xavier Woods. He said he has to catch that. They got to catch that. So that's still a guy that's really saying the standard is what the standard is. If that ball touches your fingers, you got it. But all right, I'm going to shut up because I said speed round. We got to get through a bunch of comments. Andre, we're just going to make it through these as best as we can. Locks Main says, don't start your BS, Chris. Oh, no, Locks.
Man.
Where you live at, man? Where you live at, man?
Them fighting words over there.
Come on the show. I don't know if this was old or not. He said, can I speak? I've been on a lot of podcasts on YouTube. We had you on, didn't we? But you're welcome to come on in a future show.
Yeah, it was the same guy, first guy that was on here today.
Let's see, Sam the man. Formo is liking Sam Darnold, I guess. All right, here's a new one from Fear the Panthers. If Panthers can get past the Lions, I like their chances to win the division because they pretty much have owned the NFC South. I see them winning out. So that would mean Lions, which is going to be a tough game, but I feel like it's possible because the fact that they've been winning so many games, they won on the road last week, then come on the road again and win again this week. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I feel like that, you know, gives us the opportunity. Currently, we are the underdogs for this game, though, versus the Detroit Lions coming up. And then we got Tampa, and then we got the New Orleans Saints. Trying to work.
That will be a very interesting game coming up here on Christmas Eve. That will be a good one.
Off the grid, I'm gonna toss this one to you. You can toss it back if you don't want it. We don't have the roster that Wilks needs to reflect his vision, says Off the Grid.
I would say it's a work in progress. You know, there are guys that are on this team right now that he has had in years past. You know, Shaq Thompson was a part of his tenure here in Carolina in the earlier years back in 2014 and 15. It's really hard to say what kind of team he wants. You know, he prides himself in the defensive end. But currently, I would say it's a work in progress. And until we know what he really wants, and if he gets a full offseason, obviously this is not going to be the full roster that he wants to work with. He's working with what the prior coach had with a mix-in of a couple of his guys as well.
Nicholas Graham, no way. We need to re-sign Wilks. I was reading that wrong, but okay. He says keep Wilks is what he says. I like that. Keep Wilks.
I thought, I saw that too at first. I was like, I thought it said resign, or as in like resign.
Yeah.
Steve Wilks, like step down. I was like, hold up, pump the brakes, buddy. We don't need to get into that kind of debate as of yet.
Furthermore, he says, I think he's already did a good job having us in the running for the playoffs. I agree because you wanted it, but there's no way that anybody could say, yeah, I see this happening. Even if you say that he turns it around and we do good, you couldn't foresee that we're still in a playoff hunt with a terrible record like this, because I don't think you would have just predicted that everybody else in the league or in our division would just be so terrible. But I'm thankful for it, for sure. Let's see here.
Gives us hope, gives us optimism, which we definitely need, especially over the past couple of years at this point in the year where we've had no hope heading into the holidays. Meaningful football, as they say.
Hey, we're down about 5 minutes here. 4 more. Chris and Andre, how you feel about the season? Andre, in 15 seconds.
Oh, man, it's been a roller coaster, but hopefully we end it on a high note. It's been a mix of emotions, a lot of highs and lows, but hopefully we end it off on a pretty high note. It's been pretty insane, though, I will say.
Locksman says he's a good coach, Wilkes is, but if you can get a Harbaugh or a Peyton, you got to get them. So Harbaugh would be possible. I don't think Peyton's going to be anywhere near possible. Didn't he just take a job in college somewhere? Now,
I don't want Sean Payton anywhere near the city of Charlotte. Let's just be frank about it.
You can break contracts, but I feel like because he just went to somewhere, he's not going to leave them and come to Carolina. And then as far as Harbaugh, I guess that's a possibility. But for me,
well, Carolina don't want him. I'll tell you that right now.
If the Panthers
I'm gonna be frank about that.
If he didn't have such a command over the team, then I feel more like, yeah, you gotta have somebody really up there. But to me, the more that he has command of this team and he has them playing like they are and saying, the things that he's saying, I feel like we don't have to make him up against a superstar. He can become one in his own right. Continue to run through these as we get to our final minutes here. Here we go. C said, Bearded Sam. Bearded Sam's the man.
Everybody's really been pushing this along, man. I mean, he has played well. I think he's been playing different with the beard. Hopefully that stays the case moving forward. We need him to continue to play some high-quality football here.
One thing that we have going for us is that it's going to be very cold Saturday, which could slow down the Detroit Lions offense. I'm not looking forward to the cold. I need to order my beanie so I can make it through.
I need to get me some thicker socks and probably wear some boots on Saturday. We might have to pull out the boots because, man, that was the first thing that went was the feet.
I can't say this correctly, but, bro, anytime Keith Taylor's starting since he's been on the team, he has been thoroughly dismantled as an NFL cornerback. Keith Taylor possesses no lateral or directional awareness at all. Let me take this quick drink.
Rehydrate.
If Henderson is not able to play, Keith Taylor will be at that position and start, but he will be. It will be a committee that is rotated with him, and probably more frequently than you saw this past weekend. So, we got to roll with what we got. We can't pick up too many free agents or guys off the street at this point in the season. We got to find a way to play. If you're on the field, that you got to perform, and that's something that Wilkes talks about. If you're out there, you got to perform. But certainly got to find a way to work within his strength and his weaknesses to play, for sure. Here we go. The obligatory Matt Corral inquiry. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have not been in the locker room recently to see my man Matt Corral. I can't tell you what shirt he's wearing, what his latest haircut is, or his shoes. But the next time I do, I'll be sure to give you an update. All right, let's see. Teams can run 3 wide receiver set when 8, 24, and 28 are the only cornerbacks available. 28 is deplorable as a cornerback, and he isn't good enough for special teams. Yeah, he's definitely not been a highlight. Absolutely not been a highlight.
But you got to give him an opportunity to redeem himself, fellas. He's still a young player, and he's still somebody who they view him in a high regard. So, you just got to give him an opportunity to come back and continue to play here.
And Andre, I don't know if you can fill up the screen a little bit more with your face by coming closer or whatever. But
sorry, man.
That'll be helpful. Let's see here. This game is Sam Darnold's fault. Steve Wilkes was playing too conservative instead of letting Sam keep airing the ball out. Sam was hitting darts and dimes. Desmond Davis was watching a great game yesterday that we didn't get to watch because the game that I watched, Sam did okay. He did pretty respectable. He threw a touchdown. I don't know about not letting Sam have his opportunities because Sam threw the ball 23 times yesterday. And I don't know how many times we ran the ball, but I think it's pretty close to 50-50. But, hey, Desmond, don't make you think that I don't like your comments because I appreciate you coming in here, giving us something to talk about. Let's see here. If Purdy mania continues, maybe we can trade San Francisco back some picks for Trey Lance. Ha, ha, ha. Let's see. Look at this one. We're speeding through these because we're actually over time, but I'm trying to show everybody some love before I get out of here. Sounds like I got to go do some parenting when I get off of here.
And that's why they call him the man of the people, as they say.
Any news on Matt Corral? Not yet, other than, I plan to be the man and giving you all the news I can about Matt Corral. And look at my camera going out. But guess what? I know how to switch to this camera here. put this here, and though it's not as pretty, you can still see me. Let's see.
See,
No,
a man of many talents right there. Literally seamless in under 5 seconds right there.
hey, it's called experience, right? At this point. Oh, I went to look at the wrong camera. Boom. I got it right. Let's see if I got some other ones before we can get out of here. Lots of good comments, by the way. Really appreciate everybody that's in the chat. If I miss you, I'm sorry, but sincerely, Andre and I, we love it. We appreciate it. Come on the show every time. We don't care if you agree with us, disagree, as long as you're respectful in the way that you're in your language. We will have you on the show and read your comments for sure. They're talking about Kelvin Benjamin. Here's a quick Kelvin Benjamin story. I started to get mad with him because he had told me that we could do an interview. I used to do the interviews where the guys would come to the office. We do like fun stuff and then have a little game. And he was like, "Yeah, I'll do the interview whatever day." And then he didn't. I don't know if he gave me his number. I forget what kind of, but basically he didn't show. And then he's like, "I was asleep." And I'm like, "Man,
Oh my
come on.
God.
Don't be doing me like that. Don't be doing me like that, Kelvin." All right, we are literally got 2 minutes because I gotta stick to my time. Just running through these comments. Lots of comments between you guys in the comment section. Don't mind that. Appreciate it. Everybody can be part of the family here. Playoffs.
Oh, I got you converted with the whole family thing. There we go.
You converted me. We say family around here. Almost through all these. Just want to make sure I didn't miss any of the new people. Ace Ben says, hold them accountable. I like your little icon thing, man. That's kind of cool. Yeah, he got to hold them accountable, and he is. He's holding these guys accountable. Uh-oh. I'm going to do this.
Here we go.
I'm going to do this for Andrew May. Repeat after me. Sam has turned into a good quarterback. Come on, man. You can do it. I'm going to do it one more time. Sam has turned into a good, game, manageable, serviceable quarterback that won't screw it up.
Man.
Absolutely, he has. Sam, I am on the bandwagon that you can carry us with little mistakes. There you go.
Man, I never thought they'd be a day, Chris.
I did it. I did it. So, all right. Still almost at the end. All right, here's one more. What was the ratio of Panthers to Steelers fans in the stadium? Andre, 2 seconds.
I'm going to say 65-35.
Yeah, it was high. It was high. I mean, I saw so many Roethlisbergers, Palomalu. I mean, it was very high. But it was still
fouls.
Different than that San Francisco game, man. I feel like that one, I don't know who had the worst ratio, but that San Francisco just seemed bad. But anyway, I got to keep it short because I'm over my time. What we did not talk about that I'm going to do very, very quickly is the Carolina Panthers playoff chances. That was the title of the video, that we still have a chance. And yes, we do still have a chance. Carolina Panthers right now control their own destiny with, whoa, I love it when other audio comes into my ear very loudly that you guys don't hear. It just kind of scares me. Trying to quickly get to it. All right, so current standings, Carolina Panthers are in second place with New Orleans Saints and with the Atlanta Falcons, all at 5-9. Tampa Bay's in first, 6-8. We control our own destiny because we play Tampa, and we already beat them once, so we win. Tampa also controls their own destiny because they're in the lead. So if they beat us, they win outright. New Orleans, I think, needs a little help, and Atlanta, I believe, needs a little help in order to make it, but they still have a chance. We will be back together Saturday at 11 a.m. It is a 1 o'clock game to cover that, but I will continue to bring you coverage each and every day. Hey, Andre, go ahead and give a closing, a little 30 seconds.
Yeah, so again, kind of just how we talked, and with the title of this video, there still is a chance. There is still a pulse and a heartbeat here in the Carolinas. And even if we do lose on Saturday, which I don't think we will, I mean, that's my bold prediction already early in the week. It's going to be a good game, but there is still hope. There is still an attainable path to the playoffs. And I think for everybody, that's something to be excited about, because at this point in the year, over these past couple of years, we have been already out of the picture. So it just is refreshing that we're finally playing some competitive football, despite the fact that we're 5-9.
Oh, my camera changed. So hold on. There we go. So for Andre Cassidy, I'm Chris Jenkins. I know I'm speeding through this, but I got to get off and do my daddy duties that I promised my wife I would do. Keep this show down to an hour. Hey, Leonard Krowski, thanks for the props on the Zane Gonzalez interview. For all those who may still be watching and don't know, I've done the most one-on-one interviews with any of any media that's independent with the Panthers than you could imagine. I've interviewed everybody. So check our playlist, has one-on-one interviews. We had a great one this year also with Andre and Steve Smith. That was pretty cool.
Oh,
And
yes.
that's it. I'm going to go, even though I have more to say. Appreciate everyone very much. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hashtag
Charlotte Nine
love Sam.
That's a good one right
to
there.
the end of this video. See y'all later.